Sweet. Got some lights going on here. Look, we've got the tree up. No decorations yet. So today we're going to read from Lord Byron. Selected poems. There we go. We'll let it start here to make sure everybody gets in. Happy Tuesday. This is week 4 of our lives of reading poetry, so we're excited. Yeah, so excellent. Connect Country. Welcome, Ashley. Thank you for stopping by. We're going to read us some poems here in a minute. So, looking forward to it. We can start. Got a couple people here. All right. Let's see. Pilgrim Brown, thank you. All right, let's start with this one. She walks in beauty. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shadow the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven trees, in which waves in every raven tress, and softly lightens over her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek and over that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, and mind at peace with all below, and heart whose love is innocent. And I was reading one, it's a few pages long, but it was gotta find it. Fare thee well, fare thee well. Aha, here it is. Do some connecting. Leave a thumbs up. Share us out. And enjoy the ride, the poetry ride. So this one's called Dear Doctor, I Have Read Your Play. Addressed to Byron's friend, John William Boldiari. as if coming from their publisher, John Murray. Many contemporary writers are named. Oh, so I bet you could Google the names in this. Dear Doctor, I have read your play, which is a good one in its way. Purges the eyes and moves the bowels, and drenches handkerchiefs like towels with tears that, in a flux of grief, afford hysterical relief to shattered nerves and quickened pulses, which your catastrophe convulses. I like your moral and machinery. Your plot, too, has such scope for scenery. Your dialogue is apt and smart. The play's concoction full of art. Your hero raves, your heroine cries. All stab and everybody dies. In short, your tragedy would be the very thing to hear and see. And for a piece of publication, if I decline on this occasion, it is not that I am not sensible to merits in themselves ostensible, but, and I grieve to speak it, plays are drugs, mere drugs, sir, nowadays. I had a heavy loss by manual, too lucky if it prove not annual. And Sotheby, with his damned Orestes, which, by the way, the old boar's best is, had lain so very long on hand that I despair of all demand. I've advertised, but see my books, or only watch my shopman's looks. Still, Ivan, Ina, and such slumber, my back shop glut, my shelves encumber. There's Byron, too, who once did better, has sent me, folded in a letter, a sort of it's no more a drama than Darnley, Ivan, and Kihama. So altered since last year his pen is. I think he's lost his wits at Venice. I think he's lost his wits at Venice. I think he's lost his wits at Venice. In short, sir, what with one and two other, I dare not venture on another. I write in haste, excuse each blunder. The coaches through the street so thunder. My room is my room's so full. We've Gifford here reading MSS and Hookman Freer pronouncing on the nouns and particulars of some of our forthcoming articles, the quarterly. Ah, sir, if you had but the genius to review a smart critique upon St. Helena, or if you only would but tell in a short compass what, but to resume, as I was saying, sir, the room. The room so full of wits and bards, crabs, Campbells, Crookers, Freers, and Wards, and others, neither bards nor wits, my humble tenement admits all persons in the dress of gent, from Mr. Hammond to Dog Dent. A party dines with me today, all clever men who make their way. Crabbe, Malcolm, Hamilton, and Chantry are all partakers of my pantry. They're at this moment in discussion on poor Desailly's late dissolution. Her book, they say, was in advance. Pray heaven she tell the truth of France. It is said that certainly was married to Rocca and had twice miscarried. No, not miscarried, I opine, but brought to bed at 49. Some say she died a papist. Some are of opinion that's a hum. I don't know that the fellow Schleg- Schlegel was very likely to inveigle a dying person in compunction to try the extremity of unction. But peace be with her. For a woman, her talents surely were uncommon. Publisher, and public too, the hour of her demise may rue, for never more within his shop he pray was not she interred at Coppet. Thus run our time and tongues away, but to return, sir, to your play. Sorry, sir, but I cannot deal unless it were acted by O'Neill. My hands are full, my head so busy, I'm almost dead and always dizzy. And so, with endless truth and hurry, dear doctor, I am yours, John Murray. Uh, let's see. Darkness. See if I missed any comments. Oh, awesome. Babes Laxon, thank you. You could hit XYZ. All right, darkness. I had a dream, which was not all a dream. The bright sun was extinguished, and the stars did wander darkly in the external space, rayless and pathless, and the icy earth swung blind and blackening in the moonless air. Morn came and came, and brought no day, and men forgot their passion in the dread of this their desolation, and all hearts were chilled into a selfish prayer for light, and they did live by watchfires and the thorns, the palaces of crowded kings, the huts, the habitations of all things which dwell, were burnt for beacons. Cities were consumed, and men were gathered round their blazing homes to look once more into each other's face. Happy were those who dwelt within the eye of the volcanoes, and their mountain torch, a fearful hope, was all the world contained. Forests were set on fire, but hour by hour they fell and faded, and the crackling trunks extinguished with a crash, and all was black. The brows of men by the disappearing light wore an unearthly aspect as by fits. The flashes fell upon them. Some lay down and hid their eyes and wept, and some did rest, their chins upon their clenched hands, and smiled, and others hurried to and fro and fed their funeral piles with fuel, and looked up with mad disquietude on the dull sky, the pall of a past world, and then again, with curses cast them down upon the dust, and gnashed their teeth and howled. The wild birds shrieked, and terrified did flutter on the ground, and flap their useless wings. The wildest brutes came tame and tumultuous, tumultuous, and vipers crawled and twined themselves among the multitude, hissing but stingless. They were slain for food, and war, which for a moment was no more, did glut himself again. A meal was bought with blood, and each sate sullenly apart, gorging himself in gloom. No love was left, all earth was but one thought, and that was death, immediate and inglorious, and the pang of famine fed upon all entrails. Men died, and their bones were tombless as their flesh. The meager by the meager were devoured. The meager by the meager were devoured. Even dogs assailed their masters, all save one, and he was faithful to a course, and kept the birds and beasts and famished men at bay, till hunger clung them, or the dropping dead lurched their lank jaws. Himself sought out no food, but with a piteous and perpetual moan, and a quick, desolate cry, licking the hand which answered not, with a caress he died. The crowd was famished by degrees, but two of an enormous city did survive, and they were enemies. They met beside the dying embers of an altar place, where had been heaped a mass of holy things. For an unholy usage, they raked up, and shivering scraped with their cold skeleton hands the feeble ashes, and their feeble breath blew for a little life, and made a flame, which was a mockery. Then they lifted up their eyes as it grew lighter, and beheld each other's aspects, saw and shrieked and died, even of their mutual hideousness they died, unknowing who he was upon whose brow famine had written fiend. The world was void, the populous and the powerful was a lump, seasonless, herbless, treeless, manless, lifeless, a lump of death, a chaos of hard clay. The rivers, lakes, and ocean all stood still, and nothing stirred within their silent depths. Ships, sailorless, lay rotting on the sea, and their masts fell down piecemeal as they dropped. They slept on the asp without a surge. The waves were dead. The tides were in their grave. The moon, their mistress, had expired before. The winds were withered in the stagnant air, and the clouds perished. Darkness had no need of aid from them. She was the universe. Eerie. It's a good one. Here's a short one. So we'll go no more a roving, so we'll go no more a roving, so late into the night. Though the heart be still as loving, and the moon be still as bright. For the sword outwears its sheath, and the soul wears out the breast, and the heart must pause to breathe, and love itself have rest. Though the night was made for loving, and the day returns too soon, yet we'll go no more a roving by the light of the moon. Boom. See if I missed any comments. No. We're gonna get 5 more likes. 5 more likes or $9 more. Whatever comes first. Yes, yes, yes. My boat is on the shore. My boat is on the shore, and my bark is on the sea. But before I go, Tom Moore, here's a double health to thee. Here's a sigh to those who love me, and a smile to those who hate. And whatever skies above me, here's a heart for every fate. Though the ocean roar around me, yet it still shall bear me on. Though a desert should surround me, it hath springs that may be won. Wert's the last drop in the well, as I gasped upon the brink. Ere my fainting spirit fell, it is to thee that I would drink. With that water, as this wine, the liberation I would pour should be peace with thine and mine, and a health to thee, Tom Moore. Aw, thanks. Red darkness, let's see. Oh, snatched away in beauty's bloom. Oh, snatched away in beauty's bloom. On thee shall press no ponderous tomb, but on thy turf shall roses rear their leaves the earliest of the year, and the wild cypress wave in tender gloom. And oft by yon blue gushing stream shall sorrow lean her drooping head, and feed deep thought with many a dream, and lingering pause and lightning tread, fond wretch, as if her step disturbed the dead. Away, we know that tears are vain, that death nor heeds nor hears distress. Will this unteach us to complain, or make one mourner weep the less? And thou, who tellest me to forget, thy looks are wan, thine heart, thine eyes are wet. She walks in beauty, she walks in beauty like the night of cloudless clime and starry skies. Well, I think I already read this one. Read it again. She walks in beauty. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies. And all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes, thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. One shade the more, one ray the less, and half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens over her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek, and over that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. I would I were a careless child. I would I were a careless child, still dwelling in my highland cave, or roaming through the dusky wild, or bounding over the dark blue wave, the cumbrous pomp of Saxon pride accords not with the freeborn soul which loves the mountain's craggy side and seeks the rocks where billows roll. Fortune, take back these cultured lands, take back this name of splendid sound. I hate the torch of servile hands, I hate the slaves that cringe around. Place me among the rocks I love, which sound to ocean's wildest roar. I ask but this, again to rove through scenes my youth hath known before. Few are my years, and yet I feel the world was never designed for me. Ah, why do darkening shades conceal the hour when man must cease to be? Once I beheld a splendid dream, a visionary scene of bliss. Truth, wherefore did thy hated beam awake me to a world like this? I loved, but those I loved are gone. Had friends, my early friends are fled. How cheerless feels the heart alone when all its former hopes are dead. Though gay companions over the bowl dispel a while the sense of ill, though pleasures stir the maddening soul, the heart is lonely still. How dull to hear the voice of those whom rank and chance, whom wealth or power have made, though neither friends nor foes, associates of the festive hour, give me again a faithful few. in years and feelings still the same, and I will fly the midnight crew, where boisterous joy is but a name, and woman, lovely woman, though my hope, my comforter, my all, how could, how cold must be my bosom now, when even thy smiles begin to pall. Without a sigh would I resign this busy scene of splendid woe, to make that calm contentment mine, which virtue knows or seems to know. Fain would I fly the haunts of men. I seek to shun, not hate mankind. My breast requires the sullen glen, whose gloom may suit a darkened mind. Oh, that to me the wings were given which bear the turtle to her nest. Then would I cleave the vault of heaven, to flee away and be at rest. All right. I think this will be a good one to end on. It's called When We Two Part. We two. When we two parted. When we two parted. When we two parted, in silence and tears, half broken hearted, to sever for years, pale grew thy cheek and colder thy kiss, truly that hour foretold sorrow to this. The dew of the morning sunk chill on my brow. It felt like the warning of what I feel now. Thy vows are all broken, and light is thy fame. I hear thy name spoken, and share in its shame. Thy name, thee before me, a knell to mine ear. A shudder comes over me. Why wert thou so dear? They know not I knew thee, who knew thee too well. Long, long shall I rue thee, too deeply to tell. In secret we met, in silence I grieve, that thy heart could forget, the spirit deceive. If I should meet thee after long years, how should I greet thee? With silence and tears. Alrighty. Going to hopefully it's gonna show you. It's all like blurry. They're gnomes. There's something wrong with my Alright. Guess I can show you here. That's about as good. No, it might be the light, huh? Anyway, there's some cute gnomes in the shelf there. All right. Well, till next week. Hope you enjoyed the poems, the poetry reading. Like, subscribe, watch a playlist. Got a playlist going for all the poetry readings that we got. So play that playlist sometime.